I recently took a trip to Warhammer World, so I thought I'd show you around, and if you fancied visiting yourself, then I think Christmas is a really great time to go. When you're inside, you are not allowed to film, but I will show you loads of photos of what to expect. When you arrive, you'll know you're there because there's a huge tank and space marine outside the entrance, and then you'll see that they have this massive greetings board that they've put up for Christmas. When you get inside, there's a desk where you can buy tickets for the exhibition, and you can also see a map of what is on the different floors. You'll also see a help desk where you can get your exhibition tickets. I think it's well worth doing this, especially if you haven't been before. Then in this kind of lobby area, you will see examples of the kind of exhibitions you'll see. There's some massive dioramas and they always look really impressive. If you're wondering what the exhibition looks like, I'll show you some photos later on, but there are over 15,000 miniatures and almost 30 dioramas, so it's definitely worth checking out. Once you finish looking at the dioramas, you'll move over to the perfect gift section. This is really great for kind of Christmassy stuff. They have different art prints here. Some of them are kind of metal ones. They also have a really good selection of books and posters. And then you'll see a gift section where they have these little like dice bags. They have loads of different scented candles. Some of the scents are very interesting. Particularly, I'd say no one wants to smell like Nurgle, but there you go, there's a candle for that. In this section, they've also got some little stocking filler type gifts. So they've got some fun little bottle openers. I really liked the squig one. Then they've got this section for desk mats. I've only ever seen these two designs, so I was quite excited to see a third design this year, but in this section, you've just got the main two. So this is what the designs look like. And then in this same section, they also had quite a big collection of different notebooks, and they all have different covers on the front. There was also a good selection of hats. And then there was just some other bits and pieces like chapter banners. Moving over to the next section, this is where the Christmassy stuff started. So you've got kind of like Christmas jumpers, stocking fillers, that kind of thing. Some stuff that stood out to me was the plush. There was a tree topper, which looked pretty cool. And then there was a set with a squig mug and a squig coaster. They also had a Warhammer themed Christmas stocking, which was quite cool. Every year I like to look at what baubles they've got. This year is a Chaos Gods bauble selection, which was quite cool. And then the next thing in this section was the third desk mat, which I haven't seen before, which is a squig themed one. And I had to pick this up because I thought it looked really cool. I also saw a mouse pad in this section, which I've also not seen before. So this is much smaller, and this is a squig mouse pad. They also had individual baubles. I got a similar one to this last year, so I was quite tempted to get this version of the squiggy pudding too. But this is just like a little tree ornament. And they had a mega hoodie. This year's theme was Nurgle. I think last year they had a squig one, and that's what this looked like. And they always do a few Christmas jumpers. So as you can see, this is my jumper that I got last year. This year they had a red jumper and then a blue themed one as well. In this section, they also had another bottle opener, this one more Christmassy themed, and a few more different kind of tree ornaments that you can put on your Christmas tree too. And then the final section on this floor is kind of like a starter intro to Warhammer. So if you're looking to get into the hobby yourself, or you have a friend who wants to get into it and you want to get them a Christmas present, this section is great for just kind of getting them a starter pack. So they've got your typical 40k and Age of Sigmar, the different starter sets at the different price points, depending on like the size of the army that you want to buy. They also had a little tool section. So this is also great for a beginner to pick them up some basics. So that was kind of everything on the ground floor. As you kind of turn around from that section, there's this giant space marine. So that's pretty cool if you want to take a picture with him, which of course I had to do. And then right before you go upstairs, they have these little machines where you can get these coins made. And these are just called souvenir coins, and they cost £2 each. And you can just switch them out for a Warhammer coin. And then this area was behind the kind of help desk that I pointed out earlier, where they've just got some stuff in the cabinets that you can purchase. Going up the stairs, they have some really cool art. And then obviously for Christmas, they put up some Christmassy bits too. And this is the view from above. So you can see just how big that diorama was that I showed earlier. So once you get upstairs, again, because it's Christmas, they have a lot of Christmas themed stuff. So one of the first things you'll see is the Christmas commemorative series model that was released this year. You'll also see a festive guide that you can get free stuff from. I think there's a dice tower and also some art prints. And then over to your left, I like looking at all the different books they have. They always have some really cool special editions, and sometimes they're signed as well. So it's definitely worth checking out this section. These are a few that caught my eye. And then they also had this interesting section where you've got the books, but then they've also got the models from those books next to them. So that would make a really nice present if you wanted to get someone a really cool new book, and then also the miniatures to paint from that series. Then the rest of the store is kind of split into sections. So you've got a Necromancer section, and then the Warhammer Old World, Imperials. There is also a huge Middle-earth section and this really cool life-size model, Blood Bowl. And then at each section, you'll also see little displays. So for example, this is the little Blood Bowl setup they had, so you can check out the game. Then there's also a section for boxed games if you're interested. Then one section, of course, that I was drawn to was the plushies. I'm currently painting a Skaven army, so I couldn't resist picking up the Skaven plushie, but they did have quite a big selection if you're looking for something else. Then they had an extended Christmas section from downstairs. So you'll see there's this knitted hat and scarf set, which I thought was pretty cool, and they have that in a Space Wolves design. They also had some Christmas magnets. Then there's a whole wall for new releases, so definitely worth checking out. And there's also a Discover section where you can look into some other games that you might not be that familiar with. Next area was the Essentials, and I really like how they did the paints here. They've got the full range, and then every single paint has a little pad next to it, so you can see exactly how that paint looks out of the pot. This is really useful for stuff like contrast paints, where they all kind of look really dark in the pots. And then the last bit of the store here was you had one side for Age of Sigmar and then one section for 40k. In this area, they also had quite a few glass displays, so here's a look at some of the miniatures in those. If you are new to the hobby, then make sure you check out this stuff, because this is stuff that you can get for free by completing different challenges in the store. I recommend you do this with your local one, however, but it's cool to see what you have on offer that you could get for free. It includes things like a carry case for your miniatures, there's badges, dice, and also a paintbrush holder. One of the sections you definitely should check out at Warhammer World is, of course, the Warhammer World exclusive. There's quite a big range here, from books to art prints, and they also have different miniatures. Beyond this area, you have the play area, which looks really cool, and there's just loads of tables to set up and play a game. You'll also find an area next to the essential paints where you can sit down and just paint your minis. There's a little paint station set up. And then, of course, we have the exhibition center. At the door, you'll see there is a thing called the Great Assassin's Hunt, and this is really fun. In one of the last rooms in the exhibition, there is a giant diorama, and if you find the miniature, the little assassin that's hidden in that diorama, then you get to win the model for free. So it's definitely worth playing that. It's actually really hard to find the miniature, but yeah, it's good fun to have a go. There are tons of dioramas in this exhibition section, so I'm only going to show you pictures of a few, because obviously it'll be more fun for you to see those in person. But here's the kind of thing that you can expect to see. The level of detail is insane, and every time I go there, there's new stuff to look at as well, so they do change it out quite often. You've also got the boards for the Slayer Sword winners, and you'll see that it has been updated for this year's Slayer Sword winner as well. You'll also see on the wall the Slayer Sword. The exhibition area is split into 4 sections. So you have the first area, which is the Mortal Realms. Then you have area 2, which is Age of Darkness and Armies of the Imperium. Then you have the third area, and the fourth area is Forces of Chaos and the Xenos threat. And here is the giant diorama that I was mentioning, where you need to find the assassin. It is huge, so you start upstairs and then walk downstairs as you walk around it. There's some cool lights and sound effects in this room as well. And finally, we always like to end our trip by going to Bugman's bar. This is especially cozy at Christmas, so they put up some Christmas decorations, and you've also got the kind of fake fire, which looks really cool. It's really cozy, and they have a good menu as well. And if you're brave, you can also try out their Hot Wings challenge. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little look into Warhammer World. It really is a fun day out. I'll see you in the next one.